Welcome back, guys, to the Untitled Podcast. Another episode, another reality check. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him. If that's not one of the best quotes or one of the best verses I've ever read, I don't know what is. This quote, this verse, talks about one of the hardest things that we human beings have to endure in order to get and to become who we want to become and to get what we want to get. So to persevere under trial is the hardest fucking thing. It's easy to persevere, to be consistent, to never give up, to work hard when things are going your way, when everything is beautiful, when one step follows the other, when everything rolls down beautifully. It's easy to be perseverant, to be consistent, and to not give up when everything goes according to plan and when everything goes according to schedule. It's beautiful, it's easy. But that's not the point. The point is to be able to persevere and to be consistent and to not give up when you're tested under trial. When God tests you, when the world tests you, when life tests you, when people test you, when your fucking dog wakes you up at 3 a.m. in the morning because he wants to go and take a fucking piss outside. When everyone and everything tests you and you keep a calm mind, a powerful mind, and you power through it, you stay consistent, you stay a hard worker, you don't give up, that's when you're a real fucking man. And that is when you actually will receive the biggest blessing of all, everything that God and the universe has in store for you. So blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him. All of us will all have a destiny. All of us can achieve great, great things and beautiful things. Thank you, Matt Perry. Shout out. We can all accomplish beautiful things and magical things. We all have a beautiful destiny and a beautiful but hard path towards that destiny. The reason why that path is hard is you can only grow as a human being, can only become better, you can only level up as a human being, can only become more competent when you face trials, when you face hardships, and then when you overcome those hardships. And the only way you can overcome those hardships is by powering through, not giving up. And then even if you take an L, if you lose, you don't lose, you learn from it. That's how you then grow. It's either you win from that challenge, you overcome that challenge, you overcome that problem or that hardship, so then you level up. Or even if you fail the challenge, if you have to redo it and you have to not give up and just keep going at it, be perseverant in face of that problem and that trial, you will learn something. And by learning, that's how you grow. Knowledge is power, power is knowledge. The more you know, the more powerful you are. The more you grow, the more competent you are. The more competent you are, the more you will get closer to accomplishing all of your dreams, and the more goals you will reach by being more competent in a certain domain, in a certain field that you put all of your work and all of your energy and all of your concentration into that specific domain. That's why it's really important to focus, to have focus. Because if you're someone who doesn't truly know what you want out of life, you don't know exactly what you want, you know which path you would like to take, you don't know what kind of goals you'd like to accomplish, you don't exactly know what your dream is, then it's a bit harder to stay focused because you don't know where you're going, right? If let me put it in simple layman terms. If I know that I'm going to Montreal, I know I'm taking a specific route and I'm staying on that route for 2 hours and I'm gonna get to Montreal. Simple as that. But if I'm not sure if I'm going to Montreal, am I going to Montreal? Am I going to Quebec? Am I going to Laval? Am I going to Toronto? Where am I going? I don't know. I'm just going somewhere. Well, I mean, broski, where the fuck are you going? Like, you don't know, right? I put it in simple terms, but it's the same logic. If you don't know where you're going, you cannot focus on something. If you know that you're going to Montreal, you can focus on that road, on that route, and you're going to get there one day after 2-3 hours of driving, depending where you're from. I'm from Ottawa, Gatineau. So for us, it's 2 hours, but that's how it is. So that's why you need focus. Without focus, of course, discipline, hard work, perseverance, and all of that, of course, I already talked about it. Let's put it to the side. But let me talk about the importance of having focus. Focus is knowing what you want in life and then focusing specifically on that one thing like a fucking maniac. Because if you're not obsessed with what you want, if you don't have focus for what you want, someone else who has the same dream as you, the same goals as you, and if he has more focus and more discipline, and he has more focus, which then means he'll put more work and he'll get better and have a clearer vision of how to get that goal, how to get to that goal, he will eat you alive because he has more focus. And then when you have focus, you add discipline, you add perseverance, you add the ability to take failure and keep moving forward. And you add many other aspects which are important, really important in order to accomplish your dreams. So that's why having stood the test, you have to stand the test. You cannot face a test and then give up. You will not be given what God has promised to you, what the universe has in store for you. Having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life. You will receive your crown. We all have a different crown because we're all different human beings with different potential, with different strengths and weaknesses, which then means also that we all have a different path to our goals, and we all have different goals, and we all have a different destiny. Since all human beings are different, we are literally all unique on planet Earth. That also means that all of our goals and all of our dreams, they're also unique. Just as much as our DNA is unique, literally meaning that no one ever had your specific same DNA. No one will ever have your specific same DNA. Same goes for your dreams and your goals. That's why we will all receive a crown. Like I said, there's not only one crown and only one guy can wear a crown. We all have the possibility to wear the crown that God wants to crown us with. God has different plans for all of us. That's why he made all of us differently. We're all different. And that's why we all have different strengths and weaknesses, like I said, which then also means we all have a different path to reaching our different goals and our different dreams. But there's plenty of room at the top. I heard many times from many successful people, they say many times that people don't realize, but at the top, there's plenty of room. I remember watching the podcast of Bradley Cooper with Joe Rogan, and Bradley Cooper, one of the most successful A-list celebrity actors of all time, a guy who literally accomplished all of his dreams. I don't know if he has different dreams inside of his mind, but in conclusion, he's a guy who accomplished his biggest dreams. And he said to Joe Rogan, he said, people don't realize, but at the top, there's plenty of room. That's why you don't need to be competitive against anyone. When someone loses, in order for you to win, someone doesn't have to lose. There's no logic there. Everyone can win, and so can you win. But people feel like, okay, if more people lose, then I have more chances of winning. That's not the case. Their problems, their losses, their wins have literally nothing to do with your losses and your wins. Literally nothing. The more someone loses, it doesn't mean that the more you're going to win. The more someone wins doesn't mean that you're going to lose more. It doesn't go together. People tend to compare themselves with others. We all do it. I do it. Fucking everyone does it. It's normal. The goal is to know how to stop comparing yourself with others and just compare yourself with the person you were yesterday. But in general, people love comparing themselves with others. And when you compare yourself with others, it's never a beautiful road. It's always an ugly image. It is how it is. When you start comparing yourselves with others, your life, your accomplishments, your dreams, whatever, negative thoughts come to your mind and it's all downhill. Never once did a human being feel good when he compared himself with others. Of course, you can't feel good if you start downgrading other people and then you feel better. Oh, look, I have a Lamborghini. He doesn't have more money than him, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, that's not a positive mindset to have, because at the end of the day, it's only going to come and bite you in the ass. Why? Because no matter who you are, no matter what you accomplished, no matter how gifted you are, no matter how talented you are, there's always someone out there who has more than you in a specific domain. So if you're someone who compares yourselves with others, and then you say, well, I'm someone who's really accomplished. I have a lot of money. I have a lot of fame, a lot of status. I have everything. So I don't care when I compare myself to others because I'm always going to win. So if you compare your money with someone who has, let's say, $100,000 a year and you make $1 million, then of course, your life is beautiful. You're going to feel good when you compare yourself with them. But if you're someone who has the reflex to compare your accomplishments with someone else's, then you're going to also do it with people who have more than you. So let's say you make $1 million a year. What happens if you meet a guy who makes $5 million a year? Well, you're going to be all depressive, all sad, and all fucking in your emotions. So that's why it's never good to compare yourselves with others. Even if it's comparing yourselves with people who have less than you, okay, you may have a short-term mental victory, but in the long run, in the long term, you're not going to win because you're always going to find someone who has something more than you in something. Always. You're going to find someone who has more money than you. Even if you find someone who doesn't have more money than you, maybe he's going to have more status than you. If he doesn't have more money than you, more status, maybe he's going to be better looking than you. If he doesn't have those three, maybe he's going to have a hotter wife, a more beautiful family, something. He's going to have something more than you because no one is perfect. At the end of the day, no one is perfect. And there's always a bigger shark out there. So if you always compare yourselves with others, even if you say, but yeah, I go with the logic of I'm going to compare myself with people who are below me and I'm going to hang around people who are below me, two wrong things are going to happen. First of all, when you hang around people who are quote unquote lower than you in terms of money, you're not going to learn from them and then you're not going to grow. That's why it's always important to have a close friend circle who are better than you, which will then in order make you better and make you grow. That's how it works. That's number one. And number two, if you're someone who always compares yourself with others, you're going to be depressive because like I said, maybe for short term, you're going to feel good. But then one day when you're going to meet a shark bigger than you, you're going to be all sad that he has more money than you, or that he has a hotter wife than you, or that he has more balls than you, more courage, more status, better looking, whatever it can be. You're just going to be jealous, envious, and then you're going to compare yourself with him. And then you're just going to be sad and depressive, and it's going to fucking destroy your world. That's why you never compare yourself with others. Even if you have everything in the world, you still don't do it because it's only bad. Nothing good will ever come from you comparing yourself with others. That's why we don't do it. And that's why everyone always says, don't compare yourself with others. And that's why. So that's why this quote, beautiful quote, James 1:12, a verse from the Bible. Let me say it one last time. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him. God must be true. In my opinion, I've always been really Christian, born and raised into it. I've always been Christian and I've always been religious. And then, of course, growing up in a society where it's mostly non-religious, it's mostly atheists, nothing wrong there, but it's mostly atheists, you always be a bit like a black sheep, right? I mean, when you grew up here amongst immigrants, and of course, immigrants in general in Canada tend to believe more in God. You can be a Muslim or a Christian. In general, they believe more in God. They're more religious than, let's say, native Canadians, which is normal. In general, it is how it is. But in my opinion, I heard so many scientists, like the smartest people of all time, Isaac Newton, Albert Einstein, the list goes on. What's his name? The fucking German guy, psychologist, Nietzsche, Jordan Peterson, even now became religious. He believes in God. He said it so many times. Before he didn't believe in God, now he believes in God. Einstein, Jordan Peterson, Carl Jung, all these smartest individuals, all these biggest intellectuals, they all said that in the beginning they didn't believe in God. And then throughout living life and them being intellectuals, them questioning everything, them analyzing everything and just living life, asking questions, they all came to the same conclusion that at the end of the day, they all started believing in God and they all believe that God exists. And the reason why I feel like no matter how smart you are, you remain a human being, right? I mean, Einstein, let's say Einstein is one of the smartest individuals to ever exist. That's an easy statement to make. Let's say that's the case. He ended up believing in God because he's human, he's not perfect, and he'll never know everything. Why? Because he's not perfect. He doesn't have unlimited knowledge. He has limited knowledge. But with God, you have unlimited knowledge. But as a human being, no matter how smart you are, even if you're the smartest individual to ever exist, you'll always have limited knowledge. So no matter what question you ask yourself, no matter how big your curiosity is, no matter how much your curiosity picks your brain, no matter what question you ask yourself, no matter how much you analyze the world, human beings, societies, everything else that's considered in social sciences and for intellectuals in general, the universe, the galaxy, the moon, space, whatever, at the end of the day, there will always be questions you cannot answer, always. And that's where God comes into play. Don't have an answer. As human beings, we're curious individuals, especially the more smart you are, the more curious you are. It's a trait that most very smart people have. They're very curious. So they ask many questions, they analyze everything, and they want to have answers to their questions because their brain runs at 100 miles an hour, and they always have many fucking questions because they're really curious. But like I said, there will always be questions we will never have answers to. No matter how far we move in life, no matter how much we develop ourselves in technology and human knowledge and like fucking technology, electricity, whatever it may be, no matter how many questions we answer, there will always be more questions and then more questions and then more questions. And there will always be some questions we will never be able to answer. And that's why I feel like all of them, I feel like when they started off their journey of their career as intellectuals, subconsciously, they all had the goal to answer all of their questions and to know exactly everything that has to do in their domain, the domain that piques their curiosity. And at the end of the day, they realized my knowledge is limited. As smart as I am, my knowledge is limited. But with God, I have all the answers. And I also feel like intellectuals, people who are highly, highly intellectual, it's very easy for them to be highly, highly depressive also. I guess it goes together because maybe someone who's highly intellectual, he overthinks everything. He wants to have the answer to everything. And then it drives him crazy. And that's why he can easily go into a bad mental state and into depression. That's why Jordan Peterson is constantly depressed. As much as I love him, he's constantly depressed. Elon Musk went into depression, a clinical depression 2 or 3 times. And many other intellectuals had really, really hard lives. Like Nikola Tesla, who is also one of the smartest individuals of all time, he was also a highly depressive individual. So I feel like highly intellectual people, highly intelligent people, they can all go into depression. And the only way they can get out of depression is accepting that no matter how smart they fucking are, no matter how much God gifted them with an intellect and smart, there are some questions they will never be able to answer. And there are some things their brain, no matter how powerful their brain is, no matter how intelligent they are, there are some things they'll never be able to understand and to comprehend. When they accept it, that's where they find peace, and that's where they find freedom to just live and to just accept the fact that life is life. There are some things we will never be able to understand, and there's nothing wrong there. And just because there are some questions we cannot answer doesn't mean that we don't deserve to live a happy and fulfilled and joyful life. That's not the case. But they go on this path of wanting to know everything, and then they just spiral down into depression. And that's why we need religion and God, believing in a higher power. When we don't understand something, because our knowledge is limited and because we have tunnel vision, sometimes you literally just have to say, fuck it, that's life. I don't fucking understand it, no matter how fucking smart I am. I don't understand why this keeps happening to me, why other blah, blah, blah. Don't compare yourself with others. Sometimes you just have to say, fuck it, that's life. It is what it is. Like, I know it's joked about, but sometimes it is what it is. That's fucking life. Life is unfair. So fucking what? It doesn't mean that we should stop living, and it doesn't mean that we shouldn't be allowed to live a happy and fulfilled and joyful life. So that's why I feel like at the end of the day, all the smartest individuals, all the biggest intellectuals who ever exist, all the smartest scientists, they all end up believing in God. The worst advice anyone has ever given me personally is don't dream too big. What the actual fuck? That's the stupidest fucking advice I ever heard on planet fucking Earth. If you're listening to this, to all my 10, 15 viewers, if you're listening to this, dream as big as you fucking can, because one day you're gonna fucking die. It's as simple as that. If you're 20, 25, 30, you're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna die in 70 years. If you're lucky, if you're really fucking lucky, you're gonna live to 100. If you're really fucking lucky. And even then, life goes by really fucking quickly. And what's the point of living your life if you're not gonna live it the way you want to live it? What's the fucking point? What's the point of living life and not doing everything you want to do, not accomplishing everything you want to accomplish, and not doing literally everything you wish to do? What's the point of living life if you're gonna be chained up, if you're not gonna be unchained, if you're gonna be chained, if you're always gonna listen to other people, and you're gonna stop doing things that you want to do because you're afraid of what people might say. You're afraid if you're going to look stupid, if you're going to look dumb. You're afraid what the outcome might look like. What's the point of living life, right? So like I said, dream as big as you can. All the biggest individuals who accomplished the craziest dreams, they all said, if your dreams don't scare you, you're not dreaming big enough. If your dreams, and you all know what I'm talking about. It happened to me. When I dream, sometimes I dream really big and I get scared. I'm like, what the fuck? I can't accomplish all of that. Are you crazy? That's how big you have to dream. So whenever someone tells you, don't dream too big, go work a normal 9 to 5, forget your dreams, fuck that shit. That's probably the worst fucking advice to ever fucking exist. That advice only comes from people who are scared of chasing their dreams. So they justify it by saying that it's dumb to dream big because it's not worth it. They're trying to justify their shortcomings and they're trying to justify their failures and they're trying to justify why they gave up. But at the end of the day, the real reason they gave up is they didn't believe in themselves enough and they didn't have the balls and the courage and the persistence and the will to keep going no matter what challenges they face and no matter what circumstances they face. So that's why the worst advice anyone has ever given me in 25 years of living on planet Earth is don't dream too big. I don't fucking care. That's the worst piece of advice I've ever heard. Talking about accomplishing all of your biggest dreams, accomplishing everything, think about all the crazy inventions that human beings have done. Let's start off with the plane, right? The Wright brothers inventing the plane. They started off with the dream of, I want to fly one day. Imagine before, human beings, planes didn't exist, only boats and cars, right? So imagine the Wright brothers telling someone, one day we will be able to fly. Imagine people at that time with their knowledge and their just knowledge of the world and of technology and everything that's possible. Imagine how literally everyone told them they're crazy. Even maybe even the Wright brothers deep down, they're like, fuck, are we dumb? Are we crazy? But the reason they accomplished their dreams, they just said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to try it. I have this dream inside of me. There's a reason that this dream exists inside of my brain, inside of my soul, because I want to accomplish it. God put this dream inside of me. God put his dream inside of me to accomplish, to help humanity advance and to just help humanity in general. Imagine how planes have helped society and humans as a race advance. Imagine how societies have advanced ever since the arrival of the airplane. It's crazy. But let's get back to the Wright brothers, right? When they had that idea, imagine when they told that idea to their parents, their close friends, their relatives, or whatever. I can bet whatever I want. Not one of them believed in them. They all said, what the actual fuck, this guy's crazy. It's like me saying right now, one day I'm going to be able to go under the water and breathe for the eternity of time. That's crazy. It's like, we will all say that's fucking impossible. That's the same logic and the same circumstance the Wright brothers were in that time, because perception at that time was the same as someone saying right now, one day I'm going to be able to talk to animals. It's the same fucking crazy perception and crazy, crazy fucking attempt to accomplish something. But they fucking did it. They invented the airplane. Who would have guessed that somehow someone would be able to even now in 2026, I don't fully understand how the plane fucking stays up in the air. Even now, I know I've been in an airplane many times. I've seen many airplanes. I know they fucking exist. I'm not doing a conspiracy theorist right now. I understand they fucking exist. But I don't fully understand how can it fucking stay in the air. It's kind of crazy. Even now when I look at the airplane in 2026, all my life airplanes existed. I was born in an era that airplanes existed. I was raised in it. It's nothing crazy for me, right? But still, I still look in the sky. I'm like, how does it stay in the air? It's a crazy fucking invention. So imagine how people before would have said to them, it's fucking impossible. Don't even attempt it. What, are you fucking crazy? Maybe some guys were like, you guys need to go to the mental hospital. What the fuck are you actually saying? You're a human being. How are you going to be an eagle? How are you going to be a bird? But they just said, fuck it. I have this dream. I have this vision. I'm going to follow it. with all my heart, all my will, and let's see what fucking happens. Fast forward to 2026. The airplane is as normal as this couch, is as normal as this glass of water. It's as normal as this phone. It is what it is. Let's say Graham Bell, right? Imagine when he first told people, one day you're going to be able to talk to someone who lives thousands and thousands of kilometers away from you. Imagine that time. Even now, I don't fucking, like, when I call someone, I'm like, how does my voice, like, get to him? Like, I don't understand. Like, I understand it works. Like, let's say I call my family relatives, my family members in Serbia, fucking 7,000 kilometers from here. We talk to each other. But I'm like, how does my voice, like, where does it fucking go? Like, do you understand what I mean? It's like fugazi, it doesn't exist. It's not something I can touch. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this exists because I can touch it. My phone exists because I can touch it. How does my voice, how do my words go from my phone to another phone? Like, I understand, yes, it's normal, but think about it deeply. It's kind of fucking crazy. So imagine that time, Alexander Graham Bell, how literally everyone told him, this guy needs to go to a mental hospital. What the fuck is he talking about? How are you going to talk to someone? Like, what the fuck are you saying? Like, there's no logic there. Imagine how people were telling him, you're fucking retarded. Fast forward 2026. It's one of the most normalest things on planet Earth. Being able to call someone at the fucking in Australia. I'm in Canada. I can call someone in fucking Thailand if I want in a matter of seconds, right? It's as simple as that. We all know it's simple. Even now, I can even FaceTime him. I can even look him in the face and talk to him while he's 20,000 kilometers away from where I live. Kind of fucking crazy, right? But it is what it is. My point is, at the end of the day, when you have a goal, even if everyone thinks it's impossible, even if no one sees the vision that you see, if you truly believe in it, if you feel deep down, not your ego, but your soul is speaking to you and telling you, you have to follow this dream. Believe me, this is your calling. Follow it relentlessly. Just say, fuck it. It's going to happen somehow. I'm going to be persistent. I'm never going to give up until I find a way. And at the end of the day, it's going to fucking work. No matter how crazy your dream is, if your dream doesn't scare you, you're not dreaming big enough. And dream so big that it fucking scares you, man. That's the point of life. Because if you're not going to do it, what's the point of living life? Never settle for something you don't want. Only settle for what you want. Like I said, never settle for what you don't. Don't say like, you know what? Don't be humble. Be humble in a way, but at the same time, don't be humble. Don't say, you know what? My parents never had anything. My grandparents never had shit. I come from a lineage of people who are middle class or even poor. Who am I to wish for great things? Actually, who are you not to not wish for great things? You are made for great things. We're all made for great things. So never settle for little things. Don't say, you know what? My dad never accomplished a lot. He had a 9-to-5 job in a normal fucking factory, folding journals, folding paper, whatever it can be in a factory. My grandpa never had a good job, normal job. So I'm just going to settle for that because that's all I know. Fuck that shit. Simply tell yourself, what do I want? You want to be the Prime Minister of Canada? Sure, why not? All the people who became Prime Ministers of Canada, they're normal human beings just like you. You want to be Elon Musk? Why not? He's a normal human being just like yourself. If you were to meet him, he shits like you, he eats like you, he walks like you, he has problems like you, he has sex like you. He does everything literally the same as you. He's a normal human being. So if he can accomplish it, why couldn't you? So that's why never settle for less. Never, ever. Always go for literally what you want. If you want something, only settle for what you want, period. It's as simple as that. Be fucking animal hungry and never fucking give up. And talking about all of this, like recently for the past 30 minutes, I've been talking about accomplishing your goals, never giving up, being persistent. But let me make something clear. All of that needs to be done in a long period of time. You cannot do it for 1 year and then fucking get all pissed off because you're not seeing any results, you're not living the life you want to live, and you're not hitting your targets, you're not accomplishing your dreams, and you're not reaching your goals. You have to do it for a long period of time. And that's why patience is a virtue. It's one of the hardest virtues to have. I'm speaking from personal experience. I have problems with patience. Why? Because I'm really ambitious and I want everything quickly. It takes time. Great things take time. And when I say they take time, I don't mean they take weeks. I'm not saying it takes months. It takes years and years and years of high discipline, high work ethic, and never giving up. It takes years and years, and that's why patience is a virtue, because all of your dreams, and as the bigger your dreams are, the more it's going to take time to accomplish, because it's going to take you more challenges in order for you to grow as a human being. It's going to take more hardships, more problems. You're going to need more knowledge. You're going to need more points out of life to become the person that you need to become in order to have the dreams and in order to accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish. That's why patience is a virtue. I always think about Dave Portnoy. Dave Portnoy, for people who don't know, he's the founder and president of Barstool Sports. Barstool Sports is probably one of the biggest media companies, not only in America, but in the fucking world. It's mostly sports, but now it started off as Barstool Sports. Now it's mostly Barstool. They talk about everything: culture, politics, society, sports, philosophy. They talk mostly about everything. It became something really big. Like I said, it's one of the biggest media companies in the world. I'm not talking because I love Barstool Sports and because I respect Dave Portnoy. I'm talking simply by facts and stats. If you look at followers, if you look at how many revenue they generate, if you look at everything statistically wise, they are literally one of the biggest media companies in the world. And Dave Portnoy said that it took him 10 years just to turn the corner and to start making some kind of money out of it. 10 fucking years of late nights, sleepless nights, hard work, tears, blood, pain, and everything else. 10 years just for something to happen a little bit, just for a little spark to happen. And then, of course, it's like snowball effect. Once it starts going, it gets bigger and bigger exponentially, and it becomes crazy. That's how it works. But he was working like a fucking maniac for 10 years without nothing happening, and then boom, it became the Barstool Sports that we all know and that we all love and we all respect. And Dave Portnoy, one of the most accomplished individuals in all of media, and he's a fucking multi-millionaire now because he was able to keep going and never give up for a decade. And then he started making some kind of money, and then it became Barstool Sports, one of the biggest media companies in the fucking world. So that's just one example. There's many other examples, like let's say Ray Kroc, not the founder of McDonald's, but he's the guy who made McDonald's so big and so vast and so popular around the fucking globe, not just in America. For 30 years, he was working as a door-to-door salesman, selling ice cream machines. I'm a salesman. There's nothing wrong there. I love being a salesman, but it's not the most prestigious job. And especially a salesman who works from door to door. It's really fucking hard. It's not fun. People slam their doors at your face. Everyone is pissed off to see you. No one's happy to see you. And you're not making a lot of money. Of course, there is probably a fringe minority, a really small minority who does make a lot of money from knocking door to door. But in general, and in the vast general of things, you don't make a lot of fucking money. Especially not from selling ice cream machines from restaurant to restaurant. That's not how it works. But he never gave up. He always had big dreams. He always attacked every opportunity to the fullest. That's why when he met the McDonald's brothers who had this McDonald's restaurant, and they literally started the fast food logic of food, making food fastly so that people don't have to wait in line for hours and hours. You get food fast food. When he saw that from them, he saw the potential. He believed in himself. And even then, it took years for it to get rolling, to get the ball rolling. It took years. It took a lot of hard work and a lot of patience. And then he made something big out of it. That's another example. It goes for everyone. Anyone who ever accomplished great and big things, and all of them had to practice patience. Patience over a long fucking period of time. I'm not saying 2-3 days. I'm not saying 2-3 weeks. I'm saying years and years and years of hard work, perseverance, problems, failure, losses, successes, wins, and everything else. Tears, blood, whatever else it takes. Years and years, and even maybe decades. And like I said, if all of that was easy, everyone would do it. But the reason why 99.9% of human beings never accomplish all of their dreams and the greatest things is because it's really fucking hard. And it's really fucking hard. That's why most people never accomplish their biggest dreams, because it takes a lot of fucking hard work, dedication, and longevity. That's why most of us never accomplish the greatest things, because if it was easy, everyone would do it. Who now wouldn't like to be rich, successful, famous, all of this? Everyone would like that, right? We would all like to be rich and successful, although some people want it more than others. For some people, money means more than others. I understand that fact, and that is a fact of life. But at the end of the day, no one would say no to $100 million, right? We all want $100 million. But the reason why only very few people on planet Earth have $100 million is because it's really fucking hard to have. And everything that is hard to achieve, the harder it is to achieve, the less people have it. There's more people with no six-pack than with a six-pack. Why? Because it's way harder to have a six-pack than to not have one. Simple as that. There's way more people who don't have $100 million than people who do have $100 million. Why? Because it's way easier to not have $100 million than it is to have $100 million. That's why there's less people. Simple math, simple logic, a simple truth of life. Let's read one quote from Alex Hormozi, one of really successful and accomplished individual. He opened a lot of gyms. And that's how now he makes millions and millions of dollars. And he said, figure out what you want, ignore the opinions of others, and do so much volume that it would be unreasonable that you would be unsuccessful. It's as simple as that. Figure out what you want. That's number one, because then you know where you're going. Like I said in the beginning of the episode, if you don't know what you want, if you can't figure out what you want, then you cannot have focus and you cannot have discipline and focus on a certain thing, because you don't know what you want. You don't know what you want. And like Einstein said, if you're not capable of explaining to a 5-year-old what you want, what your dreams are, then even you don't know what you want. And that's why you're lacking in focus and in discipline, because you don't know what you want. So first step, figure out what you want. Second step, when you want to do great things, when you're on the first steps of accomplishing great things on the path of your journey, you're going to have many haters and many people telling you to give up, and many people telling you that you're never going to accomplish your dreams and you're never going to become the person that you want to become. So that's why you have to then, next step, ignore the opinions of others. Ignore their opinion. No matter how logical their arguments may seem, no matter how smart their arguments may seem, the arguments against you and against you accomplishing your dreams, still don't believe in it. Believe in your heart, believe in your intuition, in your soul, and keep moving forward like a fucking animal, just like the Wright brothers did with the invention of their airplane, just like Alexander Graham Bell did with the invention of the telephone. If you believe in it, that's all the belief you need. You don't need other people believing in you. So the second step, ignore the opinions of others. And the third and final step, do so much volume that it would be unreasonable that you would be unsuccessful. So you know what you want, you don't care what other people have to say, and you do it so many times, you do so much fucking volume that we will all say it's illogical and it's unreasonable for him to not be successful. And that's a lot of fucking volume, and people don't realize, but that's a lot of fucking volume. From a personal experience, what I learned from sales, from selling cars for now 6 months, is if you want to sell more cars than someone else, of course, some people are better at closing deals. Some people are better as salesmen, at talking, at convincing others, at persuading others, of course. But at the end of the day, it's all about how badly do you want it. People who do more follow-ups, people who call more their clients, people who have the mentality of it's either he buys or he fucking dies. People who are more consistent and more persistent and who want it more and who do more volume, more calls, more outreach, more nagging their clients, they will sell more cars than the other guy. That's a fact. From being there 6 months, Like I said, some people are more talented as sellers. They're better at talking with clients. They're better at bonding, at persuading them. But at the end of the day, the most important aspect, the most important talent to have is the talent of not giving up and going after it like a fucking animal. The more you want it, the more you're going to get it. And that's one thing that sales has taught me is the more someone wants something, there's more chances of him getting it. The more volume you do, the more success you're going to have. Like I said, the guy in our dealership who sells the most cars, he's the guy who also calls the most clients and who outreaches to the most clients. He does the most volume, which then translates to him having the most sales. That's one thing I learned. And I feel like this goes for everything else in life. The more someone wants something, the more he's going to get it. Donald fucking J. Trump, there's a million people who's smarter than him, more competent than him, everything more than him. But just because Donald Trump wants something so badly, he fucking gets it. Because he wants it like a fucking animal. He wanted to be president like a fucking animal. He became president. Not only once, but twice. A big accomplishment. He wanted to accomplish all these great things in business. To a certain degree, he did and he didn't. A lot of bankruptcies and a lot of failures. But at the end of the day, as an individual, hate him or love him, he's a highly, highly accomplished individual. I'm not saying he's a good person. I'm not saying he's a competent person. I'm not saying he's a smart person. I'm not saying he's an intellectual. He's far from it. But when it comes to accomplishing your goals, accomplishing your dreams, he's one individual who's at the top. And one thing that he has, one talent that he has that I really fucking respect is he goes after what he wants like a fucking madman, like a fucking animal, like a starving wolf in the forest. That's how fucking animalistic he is when it comes to accomplishing his dreams and accomplishing everything that he wants to accomplish. And that's one thing that I respect from Donald J. Trump and from other people who are like him. He's not the smartest, far from it. He's not the most competent, far from it. He's not the fucking best looking, far from it. He's not the most charismatic, far from it. But he is the most animal when it comes to accomplishing his dreams. And like I said, working in sales, there's one thing that working in sales reinforced my theory and my argument. I always said that when you want something out of life, when you're very ambitious, being nonchalant, which is something that I feel like is really popular nowadays because amongst young people and just in social media, being nonchalant and having the mentality of I don't chase, I attract. Working in sales reinforced my theory and my argument that is all bullshit. If you're someone who is ambitious, it's bullshit. Because if you're gonna be nonchalant and I'm not gonna chase this client, I'm just gonna let him come to me because I attract. I'm telling you right now, you're not gonna sell as many cars as the other person. The guy who will sell the most cars is the guy who will be the less nonchalant and who will chase his clients the most. That goes the same in life. If you have big dreams, you cannot just be nonchalant, not work towards your dreams, and just say, I'm going to attract my dreams. That's not how it fucking works. Because there's going to be another guy in the same situation as you, but he's going to chase his dreams like a fucking madman, like a maniac, and he's going to accomplish that dream, and you're not going to accomplish that dream because you're going to have this mentality of being nonchalant and having this mentality of you feel like the world deserves you something. You deserve something out of the world. That's not the case. The world doesn't owe you anything. I don't care who you are. The world doesn't owe you anything. Some people, they grew up with this mentality. I feel like it comes from their parents. Their parents make them feel like they're special and the world owes them everything and people in it owe them everything. Let me break your ego. The world doesn't owe you anything. So that's why I feel like these youngsters who have this mentality of they were raised as single kids and their parents gave them everything and their parents told them, oh, it's never your fault. You're perfect. The world revolves around you. That's why I feel like many of these woke people are like this and they want everything given to them. They don't want to work for it. And then they have the mentality of, I don't chase. I'm too perfect to chase. I'm already special. The world owes me something. So I'm not going to chase my dreams. My dreams are going to come to me. If you have that mentality, kudos to you. But let me break it down to you. You're never going to accomplish anything and you're never going to accomplish your dreams because there is going to be a guy who understands that the world isn't fair. the world isn't all rainbows and sunshines. Shout out Sylvester Stallone. And that the world is really fucking harsh and that the world doesn't owe him anything. He's going to understand that shit. He's going to be really mentally strong and he's going to attack his dreams. He's going to face all his demons, all his fears, and he's going to be hungry like an animal, just like Donald J. Trump. And then he's going to accomplish all of his fucking dreams. That's how it's done. And that's one thing that from working in sales, not taught me because I already knew it, but only reinforced my theory and my argument that being nonchalant isn't good for results. It's maybe good for peace of mind, tranquility. You know, you're not constantly chasing and you understand that, you know, life is unfair. So there is like a certain gray zone to it. Like you understand, like, okay, I'm going to try my best and what happens, happens. So maybe you're going to have more peace of mind and more tranquility. But at the end of the day, when you want something, you have to be obsessed and you have to chase it and you have to go after it like a fucking hungry animal. That's how it's done. And if you're hyper ambitious, like I said, especially for people who are hyper ambitious, not everyone is hyper ambitious and there's nothing wrong there. Some people just want to live a quiet life, a happy life with their family members, have this normal job, and they don't have high ambition. There's nothing wrong there. But for people who are hyper ambitious and who have big dreams and want to accomplish amazing things, you cannot be nonchalant. You cannot be nonchalant because you want to accomplish great things. You have to do more than the others because you have bigger dreams than others. So then it means you have to do more than others because you want bigger and better results than others. So that's why while chasing your dreams, you cannot be nonchalant, because if you're going to be nonchalant and not chase them and have the mentality of I'm going to attract my dreams because the world owes me something because I'm so special and I'm so perfect, that's not the fucking case. You're not special. You're not perfect. The world doesn't owe you anything. And this goes for everyone. I don't care if you're Elon Musk. I don't care if you're just a normal janitor working at a shopping mall. You're not special. The world doesn't owe you anything. Get tough, get strong, work hard, never give up, and keep chasing your dreams. Face failure, don't give up, learn from it, and keep going. That's how it's done. One way to know what your passion is, because I feel like nowadays many people, many youngsters, they just want money and fame. I understand, I mean, who doesn't fucking want money and fame, especially if you're a hyper ambitious person. It's cool, right? To have money and fame is cool. But if you don't find your passion, you're never going to reach that because you're never going to have the energy to keep doing something you don't like to do in order to get money and fame. Because in order to get tons of money and high levels and high amounts of money and high amounts of fame, you have to put in a lot of fucking work. And if you do something that you're not passionate about, you're going to give up because you don't actually love doing it. And you didn't fall in love with the process. You only fell in love with the idea of the results. That's why you're never going to achieve. So find your passion. And the best way, in my opinion, to know what your passion is, ask yourself this question. If I had all the money in the world, if I had $600 billion, I literally had all the money in the world, what would I do with my days, right? I mean, you're not going to kill yourself, right? So you're going to keep living and you're going to sleep 8 hours. For the rest of the 16 hours, what would you do if you had all the money in the world, right? You have to keep yourself occupied somehow. You like doing things that you like doing, right? You like doing happy. You like doing things that bring you joy and fulfillment. What is that thing? If you had all the money in the world, forget about money. You don't have to find something that will make you tons of money. You already have $600 fucking billion. No one has more money than you. You already have all the money in the world. So you don't have to find something that's going to bring you money. You're not going to be chasing money because you already have that. So what would you do with your days? That is your passion. Once you found it, find that passion. No matter what your passion is, you can make tons of money from it. No matter what it is. You like cutting grass? Perfect. Start cutting grass. Open your company. Open 3-4 different companies. Boom, you're a multimillionaire. From your passion, which is cutting grass and doing fucking gardening and whatever else. No matter what your passion is, don't worry. There's always going to be room for money. There's always going to be room for money, no matter what your passion is. You like reading books? Perfect. Buy a couple of books. Open a reading club. Open a library. Open 3-4 libraries. Boom, you're a millionaire. Whatever your passion is, there's money in it. So don't worry. But find what your passion is. The best way, in my opinion, is to ask yourself this question. Not your ego, but your soul. Ask your soul this question. If I had all the money in the world, what would I do with my days? And I feel like that is your passion. Let me drink some water. Okay, so let's talk about fitness. I love fitness. I've been into it for like 6 years now. And I feel like when you have a strong body, you have a strong mind, and just everything goes better. I feel like both of them are connected. Your mind is connected to your body, and your body is connected to your mind. And I have many of my friends who want recently, of course, with the new year and everything, they have resolutions and they want to go more to the gym, be in better shape, eat healthier and everything, which is amazing. Beautiful, beautiful resolution to have. But guys, if you're not going to be a bodybuilder, if you don't have aspirations of competing in bodybuilding shows and making money out of bodybuilding and whatever else regarding bodybuilding, having a career or whatever, steroids, PEDs, everything that's not natural, it's not worth it. It's not fucking worth it. Because there's way more cons than pros when it comes to taking PEDs and steroids, especially if you're not a bodybuilder. If you're just a normal human being who works a normal 9 to 5 and you just want to be in better shape, don't take roids, don't take PEDs, don't take enhancers. It's not worth it. Because yes, there are pros. You might get to your results quicker. I agree. That's a fact of life. But the cons outweigh the pros by like a million miles. It's not even comparable. Now, if you're fucking C-bum, if you're someone who has aspirations of competing in bodybuilding and bodybuilding is your passion and you want to make a career out of it, and you want to make money out of it, and you want to become a professional, then there is an argument to make that it's worth it. Then there's an argument to be made. But if you're a fucking normal human being and you just want to be in better shape, quote unquote better shape, better than what you were last year, don't take fucking roids. I see so many youngsters want to get like a better physique, but they don't want to be bodybuilders. They want to be like a banker or a real estate agent or whatever, and they start taking roids. I'm like, broski, first of all, you can have a crazy shape, a crazy body shape, like fucking big muscles, fucking jacked, cut, lean, no body fat, and at the same time have big muscles while being natural. I'm not saying it's easy. It's really fucking hard. You have to train hard. You have to eat really clean. You have to eat big amounts of food. And at the same time, it has to be really clean so that you have a low body fat percentage and you have big muscle mass. It's not easy. It's really fucking hard, but it's doable. Many people have done it and everyone can do it. Some people have it easier than others because of genetics and everything else. But at the end of the day, everyone can do it. Really fucking hard. Yes, it is really fucking hard. But it's possible. Like I said, you might get to your results quicker and easier by taking steroids, by taking PEDs, enhancers, whatever. But don't put the cons to the side. All your health issues, when you're going to grow older, everything in your inside is going to be fucked. Everything's going to be fucked. It's not worth it. The cons outweigh the pros. If you're not looking to be a bodybuilder, if you don't have bodybuilding aspirations, the cons outweigh the pros by like a million miles, and it's fucking crazy. That's a little message. If you're watching this and you just started off on your journey and you went to the gym and you saw someone who's fucking jacked, fucking big, and you saw him fucking sticking a needle up his ass because he wants to put roids, and you're like, you know what? Maybe if I take roids, I'm going to get to my goals quicker and faster and easier. Yes, it might happen, but don't put the cons to the side because like I said, the cons are crazy, and the cons outweigh the pros by a crazy amount. I'm actually going to do this. Let me ChatGPT the downside of taking roids and other supplements who are roid-like. What are the cons of taking steroids? Why the fuck does my phone do that? What are the cons of taking steroids? Let's go specific with the cons of taking roids. Your body naturally produces testosterone. Taking roids can shut down your natural hormone production, which can, why does my phone keep fucking closing? Which can lead to low testosterone after stopping. The fuck? Infertility, shrinking testicles, breast tissue development, which is known as gynecomastia. For teenagers and young adults, this risk is even bigger because hormones are still stabilizing. What's wrong with my fucking phone, bro? Steroids can increase the chance of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart disease, stroke. Even young, fit people can develop cardiovascular problems from steroid use, liver damage. Some steroids, especially oral ones, can be toxic to the liver, potentially causing long-term damage, mental and emotional effects. See, this one I didn't know about. I thought it was all physical, but I guess since the physical and the brain aspect is connected, steroids use can affect mood and behavior, including, bro, what's wrong with my fucking phone, man? Irritability or aggression, anxiety or depression, mood swings, dependency, acne, hair and skin changes, can even lose your hair, stunted growth. Because you're still young, roids can prematurely close growth plates, which may permanently reduce your adult height. So like I said, you're going to maybe get bigger muscles, leaner, shredder, but the cons outweigh the pros by a crazy level, man. It's not even comparable. Okay, next topic. Thousand people saying, okay, this is something. Now, when I started working 40 hours a week, before that, I was a bartender working part-time while I was being a full-time student. Now, having starting a job which is full-time, I always heard before, never outshine your boss, never be more than your boss. It's like a rule of war from Lao Tzu, I forgot his name, the guy who wrote The Art of War. There's like a piece in it that says, don't outshine your boss. And I find that fucking dumb. Always show your full potential. Always be the best version of yourself. Even if people around you may get insecure or whatever, even if your boss might get insecure because you're better than him in something, fuck it. Always be the best version of yourself. Always strive to be the best version of yourself. Always strive to get the most out of life and to get the most out of your potential and out of your possibilities. Always be the best you can. And there's this one quote from Marianne Williamson. Beautiful quote. One of the most beautiful quotes I ever heard. And she said, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We're all meant to shine as children do. You know, when children, when they're young, they don't think about not shining because of how other people might feel insecure around them. They don't think about that. They're just acting as who they are. They shine the most that they can, and they just are who they are. It's as simple as that. As children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously, this is one of the most important parts of this quote. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our present automatically liberates others. So by you living to your full potential, shining, showing your true self, showing all your strengths, not hiding yourself, showing the beauty of who you are, you unconsciously liberate people around you from their own fears and from their own insecurities. So by you being the best version of yourself, you're not only helping yourself, you're also unconsciously helping everyone around you. So at the end of the day, shining your full light, showing the best out of you, being the best version of yourself, not hiding or dimming your light from others, will only help yourself and literally everyone else. So there's no cons, it's only pros when it comes to showing your full potential, showing your full light, and being the best version of yourself around everyone. You're only helping yourself and everyone else. So there's literally no cons and it's all pros. That's why this quote is one of the biggest quotes, one of the most popular quotes of all time, because we're all powerful beyond measure. Like I said, don't say, who am I to be this? Who am I to accomplish my dreams? I'm not made for great things. Actually, you are. We're all childs of God. We're all made by God. We're all perfect in His image. In His eyes, we're all perfect. We're made by Him. So that's where we're all powerful beyond measure. When you play small, you're not helping anyone. You're not helping, first of all, yourself, which is the most important thing, is to help yourself in life. If you're not going to be your own best friend, who's going to be your best friend? So by you playing small, first of all, you're not helping yourself and you're not helping anyone around you. You're not. But when you play to the biggest of your capabilities, to the biggest stage that you can play, you're helping yourself and you're helping everyone. That's why this quote is probably the best fucking quote I've ever read. Do not hide your light from others. Use your greatness not only to help yourself, but to automatically and unconsciously and subconsciously help others who are around you. Well, should I keep this for another reality check? Always play to 100%. Okay, let me end it with this. That's going to be it for this reality check. So talking about this, in every aspect of life, in every domain, in every field that you put focus to, that you want to accomplish, always play to your 100%. Like the quote that I just read to you guys, always play to your 100%. Play all of your cards that the life dealt you. All of the cards, we've all been dealt a different set of cards. God dealt us those cards, and he dealt us those cards for a reason, for us to play with those cards. Don't hide them. Play those cards. Play to your full potential, because God gave you that not to hide your talents and your gifts from the world, but to showcase it to the world, to liberate others by using your talents and your gifts. You not only liberate yourself, but you liberate the world around you, and you unconsciously and subconsciously help everyone around you. That was it, guys, for this episode. See you next episode. Peace out.